How can a single mum earning £18,000 a year outsave and out-invest someone in their 20s earning double her salary? It sounds impossible, right? But today, we've got the proof. Claire is a 36-year-old graphic designer in Manchester, and her bank statement is a masterclass in survival. So this is a warning for anybody watching who thinks that they don't earn enough to invest. Because today I'm going to show you how a single mum working part-time can still build up a retirement fund of over £500,000. I'm Brandon, this is I Can't Invest, and you are watching Bank Statement Breakdown. The purpose of these videos is to help Brits make small changes to their spending habits so they can start building a retirement portfolio. Most people feel like they don't earn enough to invest, but in this series, we show you how that simply isn't true. In this video, I'm going to show you what single mum Claire is doing very well on a month-to-month basis. To be honest, Claire's spending habits are not too bad, but that doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. We're going to take a look at her statement. We're then going to categorize her spending, look at what she could be investing and what it could be worth in the future, and then put together a roadmap for her to move forward with her finances. And if Claire can do it, so can you. So let's get into it. Now, there's a few important things that we're going to touch on in today's video, such as living to your means and how important that can be in the long term. Paying a reasonable amount for your rent and not leasing or financing a car can both play a big part in this. How free childcare from the government is great, but it's not actually free. And we're going to take a close look at what that one night out per month or those daily Costa coffees are actually costing you in the long term. Spoiler alert, those nights out might be costing you six figures or more. So as we mentioned, Claire is a 36-year-old single mum living in Manchester working as a graphic designer. She's working part-time 3 days a week, earning £18,000 a year, which works out at a take-home of roughly £1,350. She has a credit card with a £600 outstanding balance, but she also has no mortgage, of course, because she's renting, or any student loan debt to pay back because of what she's earning at the moment. She has £2,300 in savings and owns her £3,000 car outright. She's currently paying just over £600 per month in rent and has a 3-year-old child. Claire has no investment experience, but that doesn't mean she can't start now. So for those watching who are not aware, we are going to categorize the spending on this statement into 3 different areas. First, we have the essentials, which will be marked in green. This is things like rent, utility bills, and so on. We then have the allow it section marked in yellow, which kind of could be seen as not essential, but we are going to allow it for one reason or another. And then in red, the big no-no is the come on mate category. And this basically means, come on mate, do you really need to be spending your money on that? Okay, so now it's time to get into the bank statement and see what we're really dealing with. So as we mentioned, the take home is just over £1,350, but the income doesn't end there. Because of Claire's situation, being a single parent, she is entitled to some government-based top-ups. Now, to make the video flow nice and easy, I've actually brought these to the top of the statement so we can see exactly what's coming in. As well as the salary, we've got child benefit for £102.40 a month coming in, and we have universal credit at £380. Now, benefits in the UK are a very controversial topic. They seem to trigger a lot of people. But in this situation, Claire has my utmost respect because she is a single mum, she is still working, she is doing her bit and trying her best. So I feel like if anybody is entitled to these top-ups to help with the cost of living, it's definitely somebody like Claire. So when it comes to total inflow for the month, salary, child benefit and universal credit, this tallies up to £1,834. When it comes to the spending, the first transaction on here is a Costa coffee for £4.45, and then we have the rent coming out early in the month for £625. Now in the UK, the average amount of rent based on people's income is usually around 32 to 41%. Now, given that Claire is technically a lower earner and is living alone, the fact that she's got this at 32% is a great example of somebody living to their means, which, if you've noticed, isn't something that a lot of people want to do anymore. So for me, the Costa coffee is definitely going to have to go in the come on mate category because you really don't have to be spending money on coffees. It's not essential to be living. However, the rent, of course, is essential, and that will be marked as green. screen. We've then got another transaction for the exact same amount at Costa Coffee the next day. I feel like we're going to start seeing a bit of a theme here. Then we do have a couple more essential spends, such as council tax, but because Claire is living alone, she does get a 25% discount from the council on that one. And then we have the nursery top-up situation, because although a lot of people think that children going to nursery is funded completely by the government, that isn't the case. The parents are still expected to spend on topping up the hours or for food and nappies and that kind of stuff, which means Claire still has to pay £97.50 each month. We then have a Just Eat transaction at the weekend for £18.50, which of course we're going to mark red. And then again, a bunch of essentials to start the next week with Octopus Energy at £85.70, United Utilities for water at £28, and Virgin Media. I think this is actually Virgin Broadband, which is why we're going to put it in the essential category at £32.80. If that was for cable TV, that might have been a different story. After these essential utility bills, we do have another Costa Coffee. Now, if it isn't clear by now, the situation here is that every time that Claire goes into the office on those 3 days a week, she does pick up a coffee on the way. Now, we ran the numbers on these coffee purchases, and it is roughly coming out at around £53 per month. However, the reality of this is that if this £53 per month was invested into the S&P 500 at an average return of 10% per year over a period of 25 years, taking Claire up to the age of 61, this would be roughly around £70,000. So these £4.45 coffees every morning on the way to the work are actually working out a lot more expensive than people think. We've then got Asda groceries at £74.30, followed by some fuel at Asda as well for £20, which are both essential spends. The Costa Coffee again at £4.45 and again. And then we're back on an essential spend, which is for the TV license at £13.33, which to me is still crazy in the UK, because even if you don't watch BBC, you still have to pay it. But that's a conversation for another day. And then we have a night out in Northern Quarter, Manchester. A big night out, £72.50 spent overall. And this is a little bit of a tricky one for me. Now, I believe everybody should be able to let their hair down once in a while, especially Claire being a single mum hard at work. And we can't expect everybody to have absolutely no social life. That's just not realistic. But I still feel like it's important to put the numbers into perspective, because that one night out every month actually tallies up to over £100,000 over the course of 25 years. And like I said, I'll hold my hands up. I do go out. I do enjoy the occasional drink. But you do have to keep in mind what it's actually costing you every time you go back to the bar. I feel like such a killjoy when I put these videos together, but trust me, it's really not like that. We then have a Just Eat transaction for £22.80. Now, you've got to ask the question, would this have happened if we wasn't hungover the next day? Vinted for £12.45. Now, Vinted again is a catch-22 situation, because you are spending money on things you probably don't need, but you are doing it at a discount. So, you know, it's not too bad. We then have more essentials at Asda for the food shop and the petrol, which of course is fine. We put that in green. And then would you look at that? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Costa, Costa, Costa. We then have a soft play receipt for £12.75. Now, I'm going to put this in the allow it section rather than the come on mate, because I think it is more than fair to take your child out for some fun. We then have a Sainsbury's receipt for £12.20, basically just spending some money on chocolate and crap. Amazon for £24.99, which I am going to put in the allow it section, but this is because it was for a busy board for the child. I mean, I have a 1-year-old son myself, so I feel like I am a lot more lenient and soft with this stuff now. Maybe a year ago or two, I might have had a slightly different view on these things. We then have a phone bill for free network. Now, I'm going to put this in the essential. Sometimes I put phone bills in the allow it because it's like crazy prices, but I feel like at £18.90, that's actually very respectable, because it is likely going to be a SIM only deal. If Claire was paying £80 a month to have the latest iPhone when it probably isn't essential, that would be a completely different story. Shop again, Costa for £4.45. £12.45 and then Vinted for £15. Now the last Vinted transaction went down as yellow because it was for the child. However, this one I got confirmation wasn't, and it was just an unnecessary spend. So we're not getting away with another Vinted transaction. Asda again, both of them can go down as green. Costa, Deliveroo, and then of course Amazon Prime. So the last four things on this page of the statement all go down as red. Moving on to the final page of the statement, and we have got the credit card payment for £25.80. Now usually I put this down as yellow, we allow it because although it's not great, we do like to see people paying off their credit cards. However, in Claire's situation, we know she's got £600 remaining on that credit card with way more than that in savings. So for me, why are we still paying interest when we don't need to? Another Costa transaction for £4.45. Then we've got the weekly Asda food shop and the fuel going in, which again is fine. And then to finish off, no surprises, Costa, Vinted, red. And then just at the end, we tally up the miscellaneous, which is basically any smaller bits, very small transactions going out throughout the month. And this adds up to £24.20, and we're going to allow it. Total spend for the month is £1,717.01, which if we haven't noticed is less than what's coming in, which is great. And overall, I see this as a very good statement. Now we know that it is important to treat ourselves and to let our hair down once in a while, but that doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement here. So let's tally up these three categories and see where we're at. The essential spending is coming in at £1,364.68, catering for roughly 74% of the inflow. Now compared to previous people on the channel, this is actually a very high amount for the essential spending. And this is where I have a little sympathy for people like Claire, because she's doing a very good job of making sure that she's living to her means. Whereas other people who have essential spending at around 30 to 40% still complain that they don't have any money left to invest. I mean, if it wasn't for the help and support from the government, the essential spending would be more than what she brings in from her own salary. So for me, it's completely justifiable and also well deserved. You see so many people talking about the benefit system in the UK and how it's actually not worth going to work anymore. So fair play to Claire here. When it comes to the allow it section, it's a very small amount, £74.39, just 4% of the total inflow. And then finally, the red category, the come on mate category, at £277.94, which is roughly around 15%. Now this is the lowest by a long shot that we've had on this channel so far. So it's going to be pretty hard to make big cutbacks so that we can invest more and more. However, despite the situation we've got here, there is around 7% of the inflow left at the end of the month, which is very good and very respectable given the situation. So now it's time for my favorite part of these videos. It is time to look at the numbers and bring out the compound calculator. So if Claire was to start investing these kinds of amounts, let's take a look at what they'd be worth in the future. So as we mentioned, Claire does have some money left over at the end of the month, which does currently go into savings. However, if we was to take that and all of Claire's come on mate spending, it would look something like this. We'd have a total to invest every month of around £394 based on a 10% return, which is the average for the S&P 500 over a 25-year time frame, which of course would take Claire to 61. Just to note, the average retirement age in the UK is 65, so it would still be 4 years earlier than expected. This would give Claire a retirement pot of over £500,000 tax-free. And of course, as we always mention, it would be tax-free because we would be able to utilise a stocks and shares ISA. But is this really possible? Is it realistic? I mean, it is possible, but it would be a big sacrifice. So let's take a look at some more toned down numbers. So let's leave the savings alone. That can carry on, and we're going to focus on cutting back the come on mate spending by around 45%. So just less than half. But why this number? Well, we'll see now. This would give Claire around £125 per month to invest, which feels a lot more realistic. Personally, I would suggest putting £100 of that into a stocks and shares ISA. As we mentioned, with that 25-year time period and an average annual return of around 10%, that would leave Claire with around £130,000. However, the other £25 I would suggest to put into a junior ISA. And it's important important to keep this in perspective here, because that £25 per month is currently going towards the credit card payment, which isn't actually necessary given the amount in savings. So that £25 per month over a 15-year time frame, taking the child up to 18 years old, would give them a pot of £13,000 to start their adult life. And given that Claire is a single mum working part-time, I don't think these amounts are bad at all. And yes, it's not millions and millions of pounds for retirement, but given the situation, it's very, very respectable. And if you are enjoying this content, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below. I'm putting out these bank statement breakdowns on a weekly basis. They will be dropping every Sunday at 6 PM UK time. And if you want me to break down your bank statement, there will be a link down below in the description for you to complete a Google form, give us all the information that we require, and we can go away, crunch the numbers, and put that together. And of course, it can be completely anonymous if you want it to be. However, let's get back to the video. Now we're going to put a roadmap in place for Claire to follow to take her financial situation to the next level. And for this one, it is a very simple 3-step process. Step 1, as we mentioned earlier, we are going to just go ahead and pay that credit card off. It's really not a large amount in the situation here, and I feel like giving the interest to the banks is just absolutely pointless right now. Let's use those savings, pay the credit card off, and that is one less thing to worry about. Step 2, you probably guessed it, but it is to then replenish the savings. Some people may refer to this as savings, others may refer to it as an emergency fund. Either way, given Claire's essential spending on a monthly basis, it means that an emergency fund of around just over £4,000 would give around 3 months runway. Some people prefer 6 months, but I think this is a great starting point for Claire. Step 3, the final step, is to then start investing. Now, of course, it's entirely Claire's choice with the amounts that she wants to invest and where she wants to put it. But as I mentioned earlier, I'd be looking to put £100 into the stocks and share ISA, and then also £25 into the junior ISA. Let them keep compounding, doing their thing, and then later in life, you're going to have a big bonus. And of course, as we always mention, we know that things may change in the future. Claire may move in with a partner, she may get a promotion at work, she may have another child. All of these things can change. But the purpose of these videos is to really just paint a rough picture to point people in the right direction. And to wrap this one up, I just want to say that I do feel like Claire could be a big inspiration and role model for a lot of people out there. In the past, we've seen people feature on the channel who have gambling addictions or who waste all their money whilst living at home with parents and paying minimal rent. And to be honest, it feels like they're just not quite in the real world, whereas Claire is. And despite her financial system not being a luxury, she's still doing a very good job. So if you're giving over 50% of your income to your rent and mortgage and 25% to a car payment, then I think it may be time for some big changes. But like I said, if you did enjoy this video, if it was helpful for you, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and check out the description down below if you'd like to be featured. Make small changes now so you can reach financial freedom as early as possible. Thanks for watching, your support is greatly appreciated, and I'll catch you in the next one.